So, EToH has been receiving lots of revamps lately, and while they're mostly good for the game, they still have some issues. So this video is going to be explaining how we can fix these issues and improve the game. So ever since Juke stepped down and J2 became EToH, lots of changes have been made to improve the game, and the main focus is helping beginners progress. Before, EToH was extremely beginner unfriendly, but these lobby and tower revamps have helped ease people into the game. Rings 1 through 4, 7, and Zone 1 lobbies were all revamped, along with EToH, EToLL, and EToM all revamped, just to name a few. But there's definitely still some issues. The first, and most important issue in my opinion, is confusing gameplay for beginners. Some might be, overwhelmed by the slightly modernistic feel of the new revamps. And then when they go to play the non-revamped towers, beginners might be disappointed by how much lower quality the other towers are. I suggest making a wide variety of towers in Rings 1 through 4, with some being classic, semi-classic, and semi-modern. This will basically cover all of the Great Inferno style and prepare noobs for Rings 5 through 9. Another solution is to simply start making revamps more classic. I'd say around Ring 5 or 6 quality. While I get that people do want to have higher quality towers, beginners will need to get used to the classic style, and I don't see the classic style being completely removed anytime soon. This also helps fix another problem, which is older players craving that sweet nostalgia from original towers. I am gonna miss old lobbies and towers, but the new ones are definitely a huge improvement. So my solution to this dilemma? Make an actual in-game sub-realm where we can play older towers. Yes, remove tower replay does exist, but I'd love to see EToH do what EToH does with Swordfight Canyon. Swordfight Canyon is one of the coolest areas in any tower game I've seen, and an EToH counterpart would be even cooler. And just a little side note, but this lobby is really good. This might just be a personal nitpick, but I don't really want this hypothetical sub-realm to be in Windswept Peak. I'd rather have it as an actual sub-realm, possibly in Ring 3 or 7. Another issue is that me and lots of others have noticed is that all these tower revamps feel the same. If I remember correctly, ETplant has made like 3 or 4 of these revamps. ETplant was the former owner of the popular EToH fan game, EToH XL. Recently, they stepped down to work on EToH itself. Now, ETplant is not a bad builder, but the style can get stale. I think every tower revamp has used these weird swinging walls in some way, which is actually quite awkward. A nice and easy solution is to make these towers more unique with their mechanics. Currently, the towers just use lots of X pushers, conveyors, and swing parts, but there's definitely lots of custom client objects and client object combinations that could be simplified for beginners. While technically not a revamp, I feel like the decision to move Paradise Atoll to Zone 3 and replace it with Still Spire Horizon won't help beginners much. PA was already very beginner unfriendly, and I don't see Still Spire Horizon making it any more helpful towards beginners. And take a look at these towers. Do you think a beginner would be able to do these without struggle? I believe that these modern towers should be reserved for Zones 4 and up. And with that, let's move on to the second part of the video. Which towers should be revamped and why? The first tower I believe should be revamped is Tower Falling and Failing. It's pretty low quality with unsight readable traps, so those should be removed. It was also themed off of traveling to Earth's core, so I think that could be improved on by adding small decoration. Although, I do think the punishment should be kept the same. Newer players will have to learn punishing towers, so... Next on the revamp needed list is Tower of Corrupted Nightmares. This tower overall is really lacking in quality, and I dislike how that floor 9 and that one jump carries the entire difficulty. What I'd do is keep music and killbrick usage the same, remove most of the one-stud spam sections, and then add a new mechanic, possibly fading platforms, and also please nerf this kata jump on 9. It's the only reason this is even peak RAM. Another tower I'd nominate is Tower of Stress. This one isn't too bad, but it's so freaking boring. At least add like a speed pad to this truss. What I'd like to see is more memorable sections added, maybe a whole floor with a huge killbrick spanner, like Tower of Increasing Stress. Tower of Despair could also use a huge upgrade. The gameplay needs serious polishing, and the colors could be dimmed down a bit, but most importantly, the Floor 1 song is just horrible. Anyway, the next tower is Tower of Fatness. I think you could tell by the footage that this needs revamping. The entire tower is just copy and pasted gameplay, while Floor 10 is a huge spike. Just nerf Floor 10, make more varied gameplay, like simple wraps or truss gliding, then make the gradient look more like a border. Tower of Screen Punching is one of the worst towers in Ring 1 and can use a good revamp. It's a low bar, but whatever. Just nerf Floor 9 thin stud wraparounds, remove the traps, and then add an extra floor. Although the current final floor is actually a pretty good ending, so I'd add an extra floor somewhere in between floors 2 to 8. And for my final tower nomination is Tower of Peace. This isn't all too bad, but please actually make floor 8 outside interesting. Floor 10 could also use some polishing because currently it's quite annoying. Now, I'll list some towers that could use revamps, but I actually think should be left alone. Tower of True Skill could actually use a revamp. I do like the tower, but I admit it's really not that good. Sorry, Papa Angus. Although, I don't think it should really get a revamp. Why? Well, the gameplay isn't too bad, and it's also somewhat creative with its structuring. Also, the players that grind this for their first Remorseless will probably be angry having to relearn a new tower. And now, a huge hot take. Tower of Inception, which I think does not need a revamp. Yes, it is very bad, but let's be real. This is one of the most creative early classic towers. First wacky frame, first usage of balloons, if I remember correctly, and other sections. Tower of Inception is also really intimidating with its soft blocks and thin studs. Despite being bad techniques, it's what makes EToH so iconic. I'm not saying it's good, it's one of the worst towers in the game. Tower of Confusion is definitely revamp worthy, but I think it too should be left alone. Most revamps had added indicated conveyors, and TOC with indicated conveyors would destroy the entire difficulty. Like EToH, it's also pretty creative for its time, being the first tower with a B-side. Tower of Rage is hated on by a lot of people, but in my opinion, it isn't that bad. The spinners are cool, music too, and I like the overall feel of the tower. I just make floor 10 tightropes thicker, not a full revamp. Tower of Table Flipping is a tower I could see getting revamped, but I think the structures and gameplay concepts are actually pretty cool. I'd only nerf floor 9. That floor is like high-end rem, which is way too difficult for a low-end intense. And that's basically it for this section. Yeah, there were more candidates, but I only used the top picks for these. And now, let's look at the lobbies. Hey, for this part of the video, I'll list some problems about the new lobbies and how they can be revamped. The first issue I have is that some lobbies are too different from the old ones. I'm looking at you, Zone 1. I really like the Ring 1 and 7 lobbies because they resemble the originals well, yet still look fresh and new. Rings 2 to 4 are both pretty different from the originals, but I really do like the industrial theme of Ring 4. Ring 3 was definitely the weakest of the new lobby revamps. It's pretty hard to expand on the old Ring 3 though, so I can't blame the staff too much. With Zone 1 though, I felt that the staff team went overboard. While it is good, it looks nothing like the original other than the rocks. I liked Zone 1 of EToH XL so much because of how different it was compared to the original Zone 1, but now it's not too far from EToH's version. Also, the TOTL portal room is so overdone. All this for a really low quality insane that gets skipped into oblivion. With Ring 3, I didn't like it because of how similar it is to Ring 2 revamp. The tower areas are both the same idea, descending platforms with harder towers as you go down. Also, the outside is kinda boring. All the staff needs to do is make these closer to the original lobbies. Other than that, I really have no complaints for the lobbies. They all look amazing and make the early areas so much more easy on the eyes. Anyway, that's about it for this video. If you disagree with anything, feel free to share your own opinion in the comments. And I'll see y'all later.